Hello, good evening or morning or afternoon, whenever you're watching this. I'm doing a short little live here to share 5 prosperity mistakes people make around money, and how to avoid them. So I'm going to go down a list, and I'll say this up front too. I am doing a free workshop next week where I will be going into all of this information in more depth. It's in my bio. It's called Permission to be Prosperous. So to start, hi, Bryn. I would love to give you just lay out these 5 mistakes and help you move into a new awareness around allowing yourself to be prosperous. So this first mistake that people make, I definitely made this one plenty of times in my lifetime, is that you feel like you need to work harder. You need to work harder to get more. And there's a point where that just stops working. It's called diminishing return. And it's something that my lovely, what is he, a sophomore nephew, I think he learned it his freshman year in college. He learned this in his business mathematics class. I did not take a business mathematics class, but I've lived it in my life where there's a point where you think you can do more and, just like add more to your day, but it starts to deplete you. You actually do damage. So it's not about working harder to bring more prosperity to your life. It's learning how to approach your life, your patterns of behavior in a new way. So it really is that thing of working smarter. And there's a point we can grow on, there's a point to which we can grow on our own. And then after that, we need to leverage. We need to leverage other people. We need to leverage information. We need to leverage time. So that's myth number 1, or mistake number 1, that you need to work harder. Doesn't work. It will bite you in the booty eventually. Mistake number 2 that people make is that, hold on, let me look at my notes here, is that they need to make the money first before they can do what they really want to do or create. So there's something interesting here too, and what can happen is a person may want something, but then they say, oh, let me just wait until I make this money. And what oftentimes that can be is this sneaky cycle that keeps them where they are. Like, yes, we need to make the money, but really the first thing that needs to happen is the commitment. Are you committed to creating the income that you want? Once you make that commitment, the stuff shows up. And yes, I've had situations where people are like, Michelle, but you said it would just show up. I was like, well, did you? You can't just it's a decision, and a decision also implies action, right? A decision implies learning new information. It puts you on a different frequency, literally, where you say, you know what? I'm not going to wait. I want to learn how to make this money now. I'm going to find the opportunities to do it. And once you make that investment, it sets all of that energy in motion for that money to show up for you. So it's really the Goethe quote that I can't remember right now. It's just about, you make the decision. Let me say it like this. This is how I said it to a client earlier today. It was like, you make a decision you're going to do something, and all the energy, all this potential energy that's around us all the time can go right in there and follow that decision and follow your guidance. And I said to this client, I was like, because she was ping-ponging on a decision. It was like, you have a parking spot, and it's like the universe doesn't know where to put the car because you keep moving it. You keep, it. So once you make that decision and you stick to it, right, then all the cooperative components show up and start to assist you in that journey that you have committed to. So it's not about making the money first. Sometimes, oh, man, my mentor said this to a group of us a couple years ago. He was like, he gave this metaphor of like, you don't need a new sofa. You haven't gotten rid of your old junky one yet, or something like that. He's like, get rid of your sofa and you'll need a new sofa. I don't know if that makes sense to any of you, but in the context, it was like, oh, there really is you create the need for the income, right? Like when you decide, I'm going to do this, I'm going to invest to learn more. And there's a lot more I could say about that that mistake number 2, but let's just keep it at that for now. Mistake number 3 is people make decisions from where they are versus where they want to go. So, again, this speaks to number 2 a bit. It's like a person is looking at what they have now to make the decision versus what they want to have. If you want to learn how to create more prosperity for yourself, and let me just say this here too, I was speaking to some students about this morning, a bunch of creatives, theater and dance students, and they also were like in marketing and psychology and wildlife biology, really great people. Thank you, Patrick. That, there's something about the way that prosperity really comes from knowing it's not the money that you create. It's the abundance and the trust and like seeing that and feeling that now. It's not asking yourself to be different from who you are now or where you are now. But when you learn to accept that, and you also learn to accept what you want, these desires that move through you, this starts to allow more to come towards you. So this mistake number 2, making a decision from where you are versus where you want to go, a lot of times people where they are now is they're making their decisions based in fear, right? So fear does the way fear works is it keeps us safe and it keeps us alive, but it does not allow us to expand. So a big thing is to learn, the person who wants to grow is not doing like in a way that has integrity. They're doing it because there is this desire pulling them forward. It's life pulling them forward. So this mistake around prosperity is the way to resolve this one, is start to learn how a prosperous person makes decisions. Start to study an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset, so you can really discern that. And the biggest one for me, something that was so helpful for me in being able to make the quantum leaps that I made in my income that I never would have imagined were possible, was I studied the universal laws, and I coached with people who could guide me in working with those laws. So there are tools that make this process much more easy and possible. Alrighty, mistake number 4. This one's a good one, because I see this happen all the time. People stop just before they reach their success. It's a very common one. And not only that, something I help with my clients with too is that they reach a certain point and then they fall back, right? It's like they can't maintain a level of abundance and opportunities that's consistent. So the way you resolve this one is you have to learn how to go past your stopping points, how to stretch your belief and your faith in action just a bit further, right? So that's a mindset trick, because your mind is going to want to come in. This is what our subconscious mind does. It will want to come in and keep you right where you are. So there is a lot of value in learning how to stretch beyond where you are now, in your mind, in your body, in your emotions, in your permission. And again, if we go back to mistake number 1, it's not about working harder. It's about learning new information to create a new reality. A new reality is created. The thing that we need is new information, a new awareness that something else is possible. And personally, that was the journey I took. I just knew, I was like, I got to change this. And I saw someone who had done it before, and I called that person up and I said, I need your help. And that's when everything changed for me. I had to bring in that new information to create a new reality. So as I learned all of this information, I had to learn how to inch beyond what I thought was possible. Right? So this is what happens a lot, is a person is so close, and it's like there's that final test of how committed are you to doing this, and you just say yes again, and you say yes again, and then the thing that you want starts to just easily flow towards you in a really different way. And I'll say this too, this is a habit. This is something that you learn how to do, and especially again when you get new information. All right, this last one, I probably should have made this one the first one because I think it's a really good one that can be a problem for a lot of people, is that we feel like we need to do it on our own. there's there's this like mistaken value of the individual. And yes, I do believe like the work we do as individuals for ourselves, within ourselves, makes such a huge difference, right? Like that is where the work needs to happen, but you don't have to do it alone. You know, it's this is the leverage piece that you can find someone who can help you do it. As I said before, there's a point of diminishing return for what we can do on our own. I just spoke to someone who's been a client for a long time, and she was saying, she gets so much value out of seeing other people in the room, in the Zoom rooms when I'm holding group meetings, go through their processes too, right? Like we're moving into, I hope, this place of growth really happening through community, through more conversations, through more learning. So that's one piece of this. And also, that you can be supported. I think that's a big one too. People get afraid to ask for help because maybe they've had bad experiences with that in the past, or they weren't supported in the past. But it really is, it really is such a gift to yourself to lean into someone else's experience who has done this before, to make the journey easier for yourself, to make it happen faster too, right? So it's not true that you need to do this by yourself. There are wonderful books, there are wonderful teachers, there are wonderful people, opportunities, information like right here all the time. And there's my wonderful workshop that I'm going to be teaching next Thursday called Permission to be Prosperous. So if any of this resonates with you, please let me know. Feel free to join us. Just go to my bio and sign up now. Grab your spot. It's next Thursday, December 8th, a week from tomorrow. I'm doing this on Wednesday night. And I believe it is at noon Eastern time. Permission to be Prosperous. It's a 1-hour workshop. I will be covering different strategies on allowing this journey of abundant, spiritually aligned prosperity to flow into your life with a lot more ease and sustainability. So it's not like, wah, 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 wah. So go to my bio, sign up. I look forward to seeing you next Thursday in the workshop. Okay, bye.